Imagine it's a perfectly normal Tuesday. You're relaxing in your smart home, streaming an interesting documentary about space, or maybe catching up on the latest news. Perhaps you're even tweaking the custom external antennas on your 5G router, trying to squeeze out just a little more bandwidth for your download, when suddenly everything stops. The video buffers endlessly. The Wi-Fi symbol turns grey. The tiny signal bars at the top of your phone screen completely vanish. At first, it's just a minor annoyance. You do what anyone would do. You sigh, unplug the router, wait 10 seconds, and plug it back in. But the lights just blink red. Your expensive high-tech hub is now nothing more than a glorified, slightly warm plastic brick sitting on your desk. You step outside to see if it's just your house. Instead, you find your neighbors standing on their lawns, holding up their useless smartphones in utter confusion. Because this isn't a local outage. Deep underground and high up on the hills, every single cell tower and fiber optic hub has gone completely dark. Massive data centers, the beating hearts of the internet, have fallen silently asleep. Rows upon rows of blinking server racks simply power down simultaneously. Even the satellites orbiting our planet, beaming down the invisible signals that guide our ships and cars, have suddenly stopped transmitting their vital data. It's as if someone pulled the ultimate plug. The invisible digital web that tightly wraps around our modern civilization has just violently snapped. Think about it. No internet access, no mobile networks, no GPS navigation, no cloud storage. The entire world is plunged into absolute digital silence. You can't text your family. You can't check the news to see what's going on. Humanity has been forcefully unplugged without any warning or explanation. Some people think it's a solar flare. Others blame a coordinated cyber attack. But right now, the cause doesn't matter at all. The reality does. Without the internet, the carefully balanced dominoes of our global society are about to start toppling over, one by one, faster than you think. Take a deep breath and look around at your analog surroundings. Welcome to day one of the great global blackout. Things are about to get weird. The 5G blackout, a theoretical simulation of what happens when society completely loses its digital nervous system. Within the very first hour, the most immediate danger isn't starvation or riots. It's sheer physical momentum. Smart traffic lights across the globe lose connection to their centralized servers, turning intersections into chaotic, real-life games of bumper cars. Millions of commuters relying on cloud-based GPS navigation suddenly find their digital maps completely frozen mid-route. Without real-time satellite updates, some particularly obedient drivers blindly follow their outdated instructions straight into lakes. But the real panic sets in around hour 4, when millions of people simultaneously realize they need to rush to supermarkets to stockpile supplies. You aggressively push a cart overflowing with canned beans and toilet paper to the checkout counter, feeling like a genius survival expert, until you realize the global payment networks are completely offline. That shiny metal credit card is now just a useless piece of decorative plastic. Suddenly, physical cash is the only acceptable currency on Earth. But let's be honest, when was the last time you actually carried real paper money? Fights break out over the last functioning ATMs, which quickly die anyway because, ironically, they also need the internet to authorize your withdrawal. By sunset of day one, the real danger emerges. Local emergency services are completely blind. They can't track ambulances or coordinate rescue efforts. The few old-school analog phone lines that still exist are instantly jammed, creating a massive, continent-wide cacophony of busy signals. Even hospitals, deeply reliant on cloud-connected equipment and digital health records, are frantically scrambling to find physical pens and paper. You return to your dark, useless smart home. The smart lights ignore you, and your thousands of dollars smart fridge is just a box of slowly defrosting food. As you light a physical candle and stare blankly at your dead phone, a chilling realization washes over you. This was only the first 24 hours. To understand why everything collapsed so quickly, we need to talk about the cloud. Spoiler alert, it's not actually in the sky. The internet is aggressively physical. It's a massive, tangled web of fragile fiber optic cables buried right under your feet. Thick bundles of glass tubes run across the crushing depths of the ocean floor, constantly dodging curious sharks and fishing nets. These submarine cables connect continents, landing in quiet coastal towns from New Jersey to Cornwall, carrying 99% of our international data. But cables are just dumb pipes. To know exactly where to go, data relies on the Border Gateway Protocol, or BGP. Think of BGP as millions of microscopic traffic cops. When the blackout hit, it was as if every traffic cop on Earth vanished simultaneously. The digital highways suffered an instant catastrophic pileup, physically overwhelming the routers and forcing global data centers to defensively shut down. And this wasn't just about losing access to funny cat videos on your high-end ZTE MC888 Ultra router. The stakes were much higher. Modern 5G networks are the invisible nervous system of our physical infrastructure. They manage our water treatment plants and pressure valves in real time. When the network dies, the facility doesn't know what to do. As a safety precaution, automated valves simply snap shut, halting all water flow. They tell our power grids exactly how much electricity to distribute, balancing the chaotic load from wind turbines and massive power stations. Without these instant micro-adjustments, grids experience massive voltage spikes. To prevent catastrophic fires, local grids aggressively shut themselves down, which means that by day 2, when you turn the tap to get a simple glass of water, absolutely nothing happens. The backup generators fail. The automated water pumps stop. The lingering, comforting hum of modern civilization quietly fades into a deafening silence. We built a world optimized for supreme efficiency, completely forgetting that ultimate efficiency is just another word for ultimate fragility. That fragility becomes terrifyingly clear by day 3. You see, the modern world doesn't actually stockpile food and goods anymore. Instead, we rely on a hyper-optimized system called just-in-time logistics. It's a beautiful, perfectly choreographed dance of global trade. Factories produce exactly what is needed, exactly when it's needed, guided by real-time cloud analytics and predictive demand algorithms. But when the algorithms vanish, the music stops, and the dance turns into a catastrophic pileup of misplaced cargo. Take a modern mega warehouse. It holds millions of products, but the human workers inside don't actually know where anything is. That knowledge is entirely outsourced to the network. Without the database, a barcode is exactly what it looks like, just a meaningless zebra pattern of black and white stripes. You have no idea if a crate contains life-saving medicine or cheap plastic toys. At the global ports, automated cranes freeze completely. Massive cargo ships, perhaps including some old friends, sit idle and stuck in the harbor. Even if you could manually load the goods onto a truck, the drivers have no GPS to navigate and no digital manifests to tell them where to go. Thousands of transport trucks simply park on the side of the highway, waiting for a dispatch signal that is never going to come. The mathematical result? The average modern city supermarket only holds about 3 days' worth of food on its shelves. By the end of day 3, those shelves have been stripped completely bare by panicked hoarders, and nothing new is coming in to replace it. Meanwhile, the ultimate irony. Thousands of tons of fresh produce sit rotting inside dead, refrigerated shipping containers just a few miles away at the port. As your stomach gives a hollow rumble, you start looking at your neighbor's pet with a highly concerning level of culinary curiosity. There is an old saying that civil unrest is only ever 9 meals away, and humanity has just missed its 9th meal. Welcome to week 2. The initial chaotic panic has finally burned out, replaced by a strange, unsettling quiet. The sky is completely clear of airplane contrails. Without the internet, the interconnected global village shatters. We instantly revert back to thousands of isolated, disconnected islands. Your entire world shrinks to walking distance. Without digital news, information becomes the most valuable currency, and wild rumors spread like wildfire. Suddenly, that eccentric neighbor with the massive amateur ham radio setup isn't so crazy anymore. He becomes the high priest of the new information age. By bouncing analog radio waves off the Earth's ionosphere, He relays faint, crackling voices from across the ocean, giving desperate people proof that the rest of the world still exists. Meanwhile, the economy rapidly devolves. The concept of a billionaire means nothing when your bank account is just trapped data. We enter the golden age of the barter system. Gold and silver? Useless. You can't eat a gold bar, and it won't power a flashlight. The undisputed king of the apocalypse is the humble AA battery. A single pack of batteries can buy you a week's worth of canned soup. People haggle fiercely over half-used tubes of toothpaste. To survive, humanity tries to remember how to be analog. People dust off ancient folding paper maps to navigate their own cities and frantically search their houses for physical books on farming, water purification, or basic wilderness survival, only to tragically realize their entire physical library consists entirely of young adult vampire romance novels and unread celebrity biographies. Yet, amidst the struggle, a bizarre psychological shift occurs. The constant, exhausting barrage of global notifications and toxic social media arguments is just gone. For the first time in decades, humanity is forced to look up from its glowing screens and actually talk to the people sitting right next to them. It's a terrifying, yet strangely beautiful, enforced digital detox. But this peaceful analog honeymoon is living on borrowed time, because winter is coming. By week 3, the quaint novelty of the analog lifestyle is brutally crushed by the freezing reality of winter. Without central heating, basic survival takes absolute priority. You find yourself huddled in your living room, feeding your $500 smart speaker to the flames, and the lack of sanitation infrastructure brings back medieval problems. A minor scratch suddenly becomes a terrifying, glowing threat without antibiotics. Governments, completely cut off from their regional branches and military bases, are effectively blind, deaf, and paralyzed. To coordinate any kind of national response, they are forced to use the oldest network known to man, the physical courier. Emergency services deploy thousands of people on bikes, horses, and foot to deliver physical data drives across the frozen landscape. This is known in computer science as a sneakernet, transferring data by physically walking it in your sneakers to its destination. But here is the ultimate, cruel paradox of the Great Blackout. To turn the global internet back on, you kind of need the internet. Engineers trying to cold boot massive data centers discover that the digital security keys required to unlock the core servers are stored securely in the cloud, which they can't access, because the servers running the cloud are currently turned off. It's an apocalyptic chicken and egg scenario. Breaking this deadlock requires an unprecedented level of global, analog coordination. Through the crackling static of shortwave radios, a desperate, synchronized plan is formed across the continents. At a pre-agreed moment, power grids must manually divert all their remaining electricity to jumpstart specific, critical data centers. Engineers stand by in the freezing dark, physically holding massive bypass cables, waiting for the exact second to jumpstart the heart of the web. On the final day of week 4, the countdown reaches 0. The massive switch is thrown, and a single beautiful green light blinks back into existence. Slowly, agonizingly, the servers begin to warm up. The thick ice melts away as a cascade of green lights ripples through the data centers. The digital heartbeat returns. Across the globe, severed connections stitch themselves back together, lighting up the dark, isolated islands of humanity. Our microscopic traffic cops reappear at the digital intersections, blowing their whistles to untangle the massive backlog of frozen data packets. The 5G signals wash over the silent infrastructure. Automated valves finally open, and fresh, clean water surges back through the city's veins. The power grids stabilize, sending a steady, balanced flow of electricity. One by one, streetlights flicker back to life, pushing back the winter darkness. Global logistics shake off the frost. Automated cranes restart, and yes, even the massive cargo ships finally unwedge themselves from the harbors. In your living room, the silence is suddenly shattered. Your smartphone violently vibrates to life, flooded with a tsunami of missed notifications. You stare at the screen. After weeks of peaceful analog survival, the sudden onslaught of toxic digital noise feels overwhelmingly exhausting. The physical recovery, however, is not instant. It takes months for the perfectly choreographed, just-in-time supply chains to untangle their mess. Supermarket shelves slowly restock, but the scars remain. Humanity has learned a brutal lesson about the true cost of absolute convenience. The global economy takes a massive hit. Trillions of dollars of digital wealth evaporated into the ether, forcing a complete restructure of banking. We realize we cannot put all our eggs in one digital basket. People start keeping physical cash, paper maps, and a stockpile of AA batteries. Governments and hospitals rebuild their networks, but this time they install physical redundancies. Old-school landlines make a comeback. We have survived the Great Blackout, but the world has fundamentally changed. We now look at our glowing screens with a healthy dose of suspicion. The global nervous system is back online, humming quietly in the background. But we finally understand just how fragile that invisible web truly is. The internet is undeniably a miracle. It has connected humanity across oceans, accelerated medical breakthroughs, and given us endless cat videos. But it is also a massive single point of failure. A towering house of cards built entirely on thin glass cables and invisible waves. We don't need to return to the Dark Ages. Technology is an incredible tool, but it should never become our only crutch. So perhaps it's worth keeping a physical map in your glove box, stashing some batteries in a drawer, and actually getting to know your neighbors. Because the next time the lights go out, the only network you can truly, undeniably rely on is each other. Speaking of relying on each other, we rely completely on viewers like you to keep our own lights on and our servers running. Creating these videos takes thousands of hours of research, writing, and manually animating our little round bird friends. You can support us directly on Patreon, or by grabbing some of our beautiful high-quality analog merchandise from our store, like our brand new End of the World survival poster. It won't actually save you during a blackout, but it looks fantastic on your wall. We also have notebooks and incredibly detailed infographics that do not require a 5G connection or a battery to enjoy. Every purchase directly funds our team of artists and researchers, helping us make more ambitious content for you to explore. Thank you so much to our current supporters on Patreon, and a massive thank you to all of you for watching. If you enjoyed this digital transmission, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get notified of our next video, assuming the entire internet doesn't collapse before then. Check out these other videos on screen right now. Stay curious and maybe go buy a flashlight.